used to range between 14 to 16 rupees. Now the cost of speaking over a mobile phone for a minute may be 1 paise, in some cases 2 paise. Lot of benefit to the customer, no doubt about that. This is because of the competition. We all have to agree to this. But then, is competition the main reason for providing a better service? Should competition be the only reason for providing a better service? Is the consumer not entitled to a better service? Is the basic question. Well, before we go to that question, I think I have 2 questions ready. One to we'll start first with Mr. Chakravarti. Why do chit companies like yours transfer the matured amount to one of your other company's deposit without ever informing the consumer?
I would like to answer that. Yeah, it's not possible. If it has happened, it's not right. It is not possible to transfer without customers' written agreement and an application on the other company. Suppose this money is transferred to, it can be only transferred in a way that maybe it can get transferred as a deposit, or if it is a deposit, transferred as a deposit, the company which is accepting the deposit needs the address proof, ID proof, application of the customer. So this is not possible to transfer the money without the customer's concurrence, his written application. Yes, sir.
I'm not talking about a deposit in a chit company.
Sir.
I enter a chit deposit for 20 months.
Okay.
My money is matured, and without consulting me, you just transfer it to some other deposit transport to a transport corporation or something.
Not possible, sir.
It's possible. I have already filed 2 cases against it.
Excuse me, that's what I am saying, sir. If somebody has done it, it is not right, and they have to pay a penalty for that.
As my friend Ramakrishnan says, it is the service provider who is always able to make the impossible possible.
I agree with you, sir. If this has happened, then they have to pay for this, sir. It is not right. Somebody has not done this, they have to pay the penalty for this. There is no escaping from the fact it is not right.
Sir, it is for the service provider also to make the possible impossible, and it is for the consumer to make the possible possible and ensure that the impossible remains impossible. Then I have a question to Madam. I think in the same order I am proceeding. Now, dear aide sir, you are everywhere in India, it's okay. Compliments to you. Did you so far conduct any consumer grievance meet with rural consumers? When? Will you and where? And we want to have your mobile number. Will you please? the last part of the question, I think, is not permissible. But I am sure the first part of the question is undoubtedly permissible.
Thank you to the question as whoever has given it. I represent Chennai Aircel, but I have come today representing the Aircel Tamil Nadu. So we have conducted customer grievances programs in Chennai where Mrs. Desikan and other CAGs were also a part of it. But if you particularly want rural areas, yes, we have conducted. If you particularly tell me which city or which area you are from, maybe the next time we have it, we will inform you so that you can attend it.
Change your phone numbers only during lunch break. And to Sri Sivakumar. Why insurance companies insist on full and final settlement voucher to be signed by the policyholder even though he is not satisfied with the quantum of settlement offered?
See, we do take that voucher, but that does no way take away your right to proceed anywhere against us. That's been decided that just a voucher and you can still go to the consumer from everywhere. It doesn't mean you foreclose your options of taking asset. But when you do give that, please make a representative say as to why you're dissatisfied with the amount. And
You won't give me a check.
No, no.
No, you don't
No.
give, you insist on that.
No, which one?
I can say I have a number of cases.
No, you know that. I realize that.
Please allow me to complete. It's a very serious issue on behalf of all the consumers, and the insurance industry has to address this issue once and for all. When a policyholder is not satisfied with your claim settlement,
Hold on.
see, it's a serious issue concerning all the policyholders, and the insurance industry as such has to address this issue. Many a time, it's often seen that insurance company tries to settle the claim with some amount. Policyholder is not satisfied. It is my version against your version, there could be a dispute. But often enough, insurance companies insist that you will sign this full and final settlement voucher. Now with this, you try to extinguish my right to agitate further. You refuse to give the check unless the policyholder signs the full and final settlement. Once you grab that full and final settlement, even if I try to go to the consumer court, or even if I try to go to arbitration under clause 13 of the policies mostly, then you raise, the insurance companies raise the plea that you have already accepted it as a full and final settlement. Now this complaint has to be thrown out. This is the most unfair practice on part of the industry, because consumers have a basic right to complain about the grievance, and it's a very serious issue, and it pertains to the today's theme also, what the industry promises and what the industry does not fulfill. Thank you.
See, so far as we do that as a procedure that we followed for ages, there have been court pronouncements that notwithstanding the fact that you are given a full and final discharge, you are not foreclosed from your rights to go to a court, number one. Arbitration on the matter altogether, because the quantum is in dispute, whereas the liability is admitted, you can go to arbitration. But once you do get a full and final discharge also, there is nothing which prevents you from knocking doors of any other reversal forms.
Prevents me, I know my rights. Gentlemen, what I'm trying to say, the industry and your advocates every time raise this, please, will you stop the advocates?
No, I'll tell you one thing.
That's what my question is.
No.
See, we know our rights.
Correct.
The question is why industry should take such.
No, I can assure you from my side, so
every time I can cite hundreds and thousands of cases, and National Commission has actually passed strictures against the public sector insurance companies for, in spite of National Commission having decided all such things, again and again, you go back to the same thing. So why you refuse to improve yourself? Forget about my rights. I know I can pursue that. But why lot of time is wasted in such things by the insurance companies? Will you not improve? That is our question.
So we have to improve, I realize that.
When?
We are on the way to improvement. I tell you why. We have put up on the Citizens Charter, we have put up what you require, what we are promising delivery.
But you don't fulfill that. That's our grievance.
I tell you that. That's right. I am the last person to admit that we do not have any grievance. I won't say that. But so far as your question concerns, that I can assure you, my advocate, that doesn't mean it's a meaningless difference you're taking that you're given all those vouchers. Number one.
When will the insurance companies issue circular to all their companies, all public sector, because you say that you are representing the industry today?
Yes.
You should take it back, this feedback from the consumers.
We'll
It's
do
a
that.
serious forum. And we mean it what we say. And it's not only for just a debate here and then forget about it. You take this feedback from here, and we are quite serious about it.
No,
It's
so
an
far-
all India issue.
So far the voucher itself
And
is
something if we can improve upon, this is definitely a positive gain.
See, now so far as the voucher itself is concerned, is perhaps an archaic document in the sense that most of the payments is made by NIFT and RTGS payments. So in any case, we can give it to your account. We can prove that the money has been paid to you. Now so far, I can assure you that we can say that we will not raise this defense that you are discharged, so that you can take care of. Yeah.
If it's an archaic document, why not change it? If it is an archaic document, why not change it and then say subject to final
I know
settlement?
that. See, his question is what I just you just heard what I read over the last moment. It's very difficult to change things in India. I said that it's an archaic document, right? But I do fill up such archaic documents everywhere else as a consumer. I feel the same way as you, with the point taken.
May I make a point? It's okay for people like Mr. Deshpande and myself. There are hundreds and thousands of ordinary middle class customers who come. They don't know they have the right to question that and go to either a consumer court or somebody else. And also, you are all depending on some Supreme Court judgment to say what you are doing is wrong, and you have, the consumer has the right to go. Why should it be so? As Mr. Deshpande says, if you are so open, why do you have such a thing like that? All right, you can always say, all right, here is our check. This is our check. If you are not satisfied with it, you are welcome to go abroad. Even to get that check, sir, it's like a big effort. After getting the check, I would rather, I have already spent some money in my health insurance or whatever it is, and I am waiting for the check. Otherwise, I have to borrow the money and pay interest on that. After doing all this, when you give me a voucher, my immediate inclination, okay, let me sign the check, get the money, and then forget about it. Most of us do not know they have the right to appeal against your own check. You have to change, sir. As an insurance company, you people have to change and make us feel comfortable.
No, I tell you one thing. So far as this aspect is concerned, I mentioned during my talk that we are trying to ensure that the consumer gets cashless settlement, number one. Right? I know there are dissatisfaction there also, but we are moving into the direction and trying to ensure that you don't have to spend anything. So the hospital...
There are ways, Mr. Justice, to deal with this particular issue. Very basically, we are dealing with you by a notice or by a contract trying to remove a right guaranteed by state. That's it. You are by notice or by contractual term trying to remove a right granted by state. And the way to deal with that probably would be to include a provision in the Consumer Protection Act which makes it an offense for someone to do precisely that. Many Consumer Protection Acts throughout the world provide that a contractual term or a notice that seeks to remove the right granted by this statute constitutes an offense. And that will take care of people who do this. They do it precisely for the reason that you're saying, because a lot of people think that that's it. I have signed away, I have taken a check, therefore I have no more claim. And that, of course, saves the industry millions of rupees. So it is an act designed to deceive. And I think the way to deal with it is to make it criminal offense.
On this occasion, let me make a small submission that the insurance sector service is operated like a business and not like a service. My friend will be definitely angry with me, but I can assure you, friends, I have paid subscription for an insurance policy for 20 long years. It got mature. The maturity value when I went to collect, they said these 10 monthly subscriptions have not been credited. Therefore, we are paying lesser money. I lodged a complaint and came back. A phone call comes to me. I go back and ask him why. He said, if you don't take the check now, the check will be surrendered. You have to be after us for 1 more year to get the check. And I have no option but to take the check and sign no claim hereafter. Thank you very much. We have no option. Sir, I think this is an occasion when there are two legal links which are exploited by the insurance companies. I don't mind to use this expression. Number one, after the subscription is over and the risk occurs, they somehow become James Bond 007 and they find out that some information was not given. At the age of 5, I got cough for 7 days. I have not given in the proposal form. And they said this is a suppression of material information. When you suppress the material fact, the entire policy becomes void. Second, latest, another beautiful legal technique which the insurance companies are taking. From what day you can go to court? Is it from the day on which the loss occurred? After the loss has occurred, we file a claim. The claim is processed. Afterwards, the insurance company comes and says, you are not entitled to this claim. In that process, 1.5 years is over. And after some time, I file a case, they say the claim is time barred. Saying that you have to file within the time calculated from the date of occurrence of the loss. Unfortunately, there is a Maharashtra High Court judgment which was misinterpreted, and there no claim was ever filed at all. It's not a question of rejection of the claim, it's a question of non-claiming at all. But unfortunately, this distinction is never observed and the consumer is taken for a ride. But anyway, the things are changing. Let us hope our representatives, Shivkumarji, will definitely communicate our sentiments and see that something is done for the consumer, as he is also one of the consumers.
Or if you are a roadside astrologer or a magician, you can call yourself a professor. An Advertising Standards Council will not interfere. But then, not being qualified even for that, I was very worried till I came across this great definition of a professor. You know, people who talk in their sleep. A professor is one who talks in other people's sleep. So in the immediate post-lunch session is a great occasion to become a professor. We had, at the beginning of this conference, a desire that the people who have done the maximum service to the consumers must be recognized. So some special awards to recognize them must be given at the conference. So a selection committee was appointed. Invitations were sent out for nominations, including self-nominations. And we thought it's a straightforward process. Then we found how wrong we were. Taking the criteria which are listed, that organizations and individuals who have done something out of the normal for the sake of the consumer or spreading consumer awareness, etc. To find a short list wasn't difficult. But once shortlisted, thereafter, it was an extremely difficult and to an extent unhappy process of trying to select the winner. For selecting a winner means rejecting the others. And that was the unhappy part. In many cases, the difference between one and the other was little. Like they used to say in India, the difference between 20 and 19. To make this distinction wasn't an easy thing. But what we relied on was the total volume of contribution. Innovative way in which this contribution was made, and contributions made by organizations or people when they did not have to make this contribution. What I mean by that is, we have heard in the many presentations in the sessions yesterday and today that it is the enlightened self-interest of the organizations themselves to take the consumer along. So we have to go something beyond the call of duty. Long years ago, Kalidasa defined it while finding out who is a hero. He said, Vikara heto rapyana vikriyante yesham na chetamsi te eva dhira. He said, he is a hero who, in the most corrupting circumstances, still remain steadfast without getting corrupted. So an organization or an individual, mostly organizations, which could have ignored the customer and got away with it, but did not, got an edge over an organization which necessarily had to take the customer along for its own survival. Having made this difficult distinction, somehow we were able to arrive at the selection, and that was an unanimous selection. The only case where we felt particularly unhappy was the fact that when it came to the individuals, we found that necessary, perhaps in future years, to make a distinction and make two separate awards for individuals who have contributed on their own as an individual and individuals who have contributed as the head of an institution, because these two are not strictly comparable. So a distinction in this case perhaps can be made in future years. With that, I think I would not test your ability to keep awake further and go to the awards. Has landed on the Life Insurance Corporation.
The Life Insurance Corporation of India is honored here with a special award for consumer service and for the significant support in the field of consumer protection and consumer support. LIC was started in 1956 as a public sector corporation to provide life insurance to the teeming millions in India. This was soon after the Indian independence, where such large all-India corporations were rare. The area of operations is directly with the consumers, and the quality of service directly determines the success of the venture. LIC did all that and more. They are a behemoth now, with over 4,000 offices, 115,000 employees, servicing millions of policyholders. LIC's record of public and client service is enviable. Their record of settlements of claims is over 95% out of more than 18 million claims. They have grown up with times and now employ modern technology in their grievance redressal system. LIC has introduced well thought out redressal mechanisms at multiple levels, which are well tested. In one of the recent surveys, LIC's consumers had the lowest dissatisfaction levels. LIC has been the recipient of numerous awards over many years for the services as one of the most trusted brands. They hold their own with private insurance companies and have over 75% market share of the life insurance market in India. LIC has taken their corporate social responsibility seriously. They have formed a trust for promoting education, health, and poverty alleviation schemes. CAI takes pride in awarding the Special Award for Consumer Service to Life Insurance Corporation of India, Mumbai.
Life Insurance Corporation of India.
Mumbai Grahak Panchayat is honored here for their significant contribution to the consumer protection movement in India. MGP is one of the largest consumer organizations in India with a membership of over 28,000. Yes, 28,000. They are also one of the oldest, having started their operations 37 years back in 1974. It's a consumer organization of the consumers for the larger body of consumers and is run by consumers. MGP is engaged in various aspects of consumer protection and consumer supportive campaigns, but their uniqueness is in the monthly distribution of groceries on a no-profit, no-loss basis. This is a living proof of what a dedicated group of people can achieve and continue to improve for over 35 years. This activity has caught the attention of the international community for its uniqueness and sustained success. MGP promotes responsible consumerism by bringing the consumer to the forefront of the logistics and supply chain of consumer goods as decision makers, executors, and monitors. MGP's primary objective includes organizing the consumers for common causes, educating them, and protecting consumer interests through legal and other means. MGP represents consumers in various government committees and is vocal in voicing their concerns. It starts early by promoting consumer clubs among school children. It has run various campaigns and seminars, workshops and lectures. It was in the forefront to offer choice to consumers to choose their suppliers of electricity. In recognition of their services, MGP has received a number of prestigious awards from governments and others. CII is very proud to confer the Special Award for Consumer Organization to Mumbai Grahak Panchayat in recognition of their lasting contribution to the consumer movement in India. I invite Shirish Deshpande to come on to speak.
Because there were a large number of very deserving candidates, all of whom would have been happy to honor. But we had to finally select one. And it has landed on Dr. S.P. Thirumal Rao.
Dr. Thirumal Rao is honored here for his significant contribution as a consumer activist and for his dedication to the sustained and selfless voluntary service to those who are less able to help themselves. Dr. Rao is the president of Karnataka Consumers Forum in Mysore. He has been in the consumer movement since 1987, and this year marks the completion of his 25 years in consumer service. Being in the medical profession, public services comes to him naturally. He was brought into the Karnataka Consumer Forum in 1976. As president of the forum, he has broad-based the operations into consumer education, consumer protection, and setting up three-tier consumer organizations in Karnataka. The forum has been in the forefront of consumer education in and around Mysore. They have conducted various seminars and published many books. A book on negligence in medical profession was compiled by Dr. Rao. A novel idea of taking consumer support to the consumers was implemented through Gramina Grahaka Hita Rakshana Yatra or Yatra for protecting the interest in rural areas in 1983. Consumer activities were started in schools way before the consumer clubs were started in the schools by Department of Consumer Affairs. A bilingual monthly publication, Grahaka Tarangini, was started in 2004. The forum has assisted consumers in taking up their grievances with appropriate authorities and getting resolution. Under Dr. Rao's expert guidance, the forum has grown from being a small organization into being a large benefactor and a champion of consumer rights. CII takes great pride in presenting the Distinguished Service Award for an outstanding consumer activist to SP Tirumala Rao. Dr. Rao to come and answer. Say a few words, couple of minutes here. I start with Shirish is ready, so I will. Not ready? Let it come in the same way. Okay, Mr. Singh.
On the dais and the audience. Friends, it's a great privilege for Life Insurance Corporation of India to be recognized for its service. It was mentioned here that this organization is a legacy organization, a very old organization, started in 1956 and has turned modern with the implementation of customer-friendly initiatives. And I would like to acknowledge this honor which was given to us in this meeting, in this forum, and I'd like to thank all the people here and reassure that LIC will continue to give very good service to all the customers.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. and Mrs. Desikan, Consumers Association of India, and thank you, all of you. It's my great pleasure to see that MGP's contribution all these years, 37 years, has been once again recognized by a consumer organization of credibility. And this is really an honor. In fact, it is a rare occasion that one consumer body acknowledges and appreciates the role of another consumer body. And that is why I take this award with great pride and honor, and at the same time with humility. I dedicate this award to our founders and 31,000 plus members. 28,000 was the figure when we had submitted this nomination, but as of today it is 31,000. We are growing day by day, and the distribution system about which the mention was made in the citation, we have always been saying that any consumer organization which is interested in adopting this model, which will make the consumer organization self-reliant, because that is something necessary. So if any consumer organization is interested in adopting this model, our help is always available. Anybody can contact us anytime, and we shall be very happy to assist and guide any consumer organization with a view to strengthen the overall consumer movement in the country. I once again thank Consumer Association of India for this recognition. Thank you very much.
Fellow consumer activists and ladies and gentlemen. Even though I
am a medical practitioner. In 1986, an incident happened which pulled me into the consumer movement. And since then, I am taking up consumer education at the rural level so that the farmers, ignorant rural people will be protected against the malpractices of service organizations and traders and others. One particular example I may be permitted to place before you is a failure of maize seeds in Piriyapatna College, affecting about 3,000 farmers. And we took up that case, lodged a complaint before the National Commission in 1997, and we got a favorable response, even though belated, in 2008. And the National Commission has awarded a compensation of 5,000 rupees per hectare to each farmer, coming to about 30 lakhs. And this has been, the company had gone on an appeal to Supreme Court, but Supreme Court turned down the appeal. They said the company should deposit the compensation amount with the Deputy Commissioner of Mysore, who should distribute the relief to all the aggrieved farmers. Another case what I take pride is that one of the revision petitions I had filed before the National Commission, that an applicant under RTI Act is a consumer and non-supply of information to that applicant is a deficiency in service. The Mysore District Forum had allowed the complaint. The Karnataka State Commission has set aside that order on an appeal by the Municipal Corporation of Mysore. But in the revision petition, I was able to get a favorable this one, wherein the National Commission has given a direct judgment that an applicant who pays 10 rupees for information is a consumer, and that is an effort-making judgment which we want to retain. There are some revision petitions pending before the National Commission. The other day I had been to Delhi, but due to lack of quorum, the case was adjourned. I hope I will be able to set I would be able to help the consumers holding that the applicant under RTI is a consumer. And when I was feeling depressed, this award has given me this one to be firm and fight against the atrocities of service providers. Thank you.